Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my Sunday night football prediction between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, let's kick it off with the injury report of the San Francisco 49ers, starting with defensive lineman Kevin Givens with a groin injury, wide receiver Jawan Jennings with a hip injury, and kicker Jake Moody with an ankle injury, all out for this game. Then we move on to tight end George Kittle with a foot injury, safety George Odum with a knee injury, wide receiver Debo Samuels with a wrist and illness. Then we move on to defensive back Demodredor Lenore. I don't know if that's how you say it, but okay. And he has an illness. All of those players are questionable for the game. While then we end off with defensive lineman Nick Bosa, wide receiver Chris Conley, and running back Jordan Mason with an elbow, ankle, and shoulder injury respectively. Now, when it comes down to it, the three last players definitely going to play. When it comes to the questionable players, I only think Lenore is the only one that will not play in this game. The San Francisco 49ers lost Jawan Jennings, potentially losing Debo Samuels and George Kittle. That's most of their offense, basically. Like, they can't just rely on other guys like Ricky Pearsall, who's not been doing that well and was injured part of the year. Jacob Cowing as well, and Chris Conley. We really got to see where the San Francisco 49ers are going to go on offense, because if they get injuries like this some more, yeah, that's going to be a very big issue for the 49ers. So right now, I'm thinking that the injuries are going to be mostly a hindrance to the offensive side rather than the defensive side. Now, moving on to the offense of the San Francisco 49ers, starting with quarterback Brock Purdy, running back Jordan Mason, fullback Kyle Juszczyk, wide receiver Debo Samuels, Jacob Cowing, and Ricky Pearsall. And if Debo cannot go, Chris Conley would take over. Then we get tight end George Kittle, and if he cannot go, Eric Selbert will take over. Left tackle will be Trent Williams, Aaron Banks will be the left guard, Jake Brendel the center, Dominic Pooney will be the right guard, and Colton Mikovits will be the right tackle. Now, when it comes to the 49er offensive line, pretty good. If Selbert were to play, he's a decent tight end, but he's not George Kittle. And then you got Cowing and Ricky Pearsall as receivers, not really the best options. And Chris Conley, not really the best option. So losing Samuels after losing Ayuk for the year, honestly, this is going to be a very tough game for the 49ers. Even though it's against the Cowboys, who have not been good this entire year. But honestly, they're mostly going to be running the ball with Jordan Mason and potentially even Kyle Juszczyk and maybe some other guys in the backfield. But this is going to be more of a run game based for the 49ers due to the fact that their receiving core has really gone down since Debo Samuels went down with injury. Now, on to the defense of the San Francisco 49ers, starting with defensive ends Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa, defensive tackles Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott, weak side linebacker Devondre Campbell, inside linebacker Fred Warner, strong side linebacker Demetrius Flanning Fowles, cornerback Travarius Ward and Isaac Yadom, and Demondre Lenore will be the nickelback, but if he cannot go, Renardo Green will take over, and Giai Brown will be the free safety, and Malik Mustafa will be the strong safety. Now, when it comes to the defense, not really that much of an issue. You got Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa off the edge. You got some good guys in Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott in the interior defensive line. Honestly, Devondre Campbell and Fred Warner in the linebacking core. Travarius Ward at corner and Mustafa at free safety. This is a pretty good defense. So I'm expecting, honestly, them to keep the Cowboys in check in this game. To be honest, it's not going to really be that big of a points bonanza in this game. But yeah, I'm thinking that the 49ers defense will definitely hinder the Cowboys offense. Now moving on to the injury report of the Dallas Cowboys, starting with cornerback Veron Bland with a foot injury, linebacker Micah Parsons with an ankle injury, defensive lineman Jordan Phillips with a wrist injury, tight end John Stevens Jr. with a knee injury, all out for this game. Then we move on to defensive back Kalen Carson with a shoulder injury, along with Eric Kendricks, linebacker with a shoulder injury, and linebacker Nick Vigil with a foot injury, all questionable for the game. Then we move on to Ryan Florinoy, wide receiver with an ankle injury, linebacker Maurice Faua. I don't know if that's how you say it, but he has a shoulder injury. But in the end, those last two players will play, while I believe out of the questionable players, Nick Vigil will not be playing. Now, when it comes down to this, it's mostly on the defensive side for the Dallas Cowboys. But to be honest, both the offense and defense have been off for the Cowboys. So even if they got a lot of defensive players out or questionable in this game, it's basically like saying this horse is losing. Okay, let me give it a little trip up at the like part of the race or something. It's basically that's what it is. Like you're hindering someone who's already losing, and that's what I think of the Cowboys' offense and defense. And the injuries are just not going to help them. Now on to the offense of the Dallas Cowboys. We got Dak Prescott at quarterback, Rico Dowell at running back, but if he cannot go, Ezekiel Elliott will take over. Hunter Lupike, I don't know if that's how you say it, but he's the fullback. Wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, and Cavante Turpin. With tight end Jake Ferguson, left tackle Tyler Guyton, left guard Tyler Smith, center Cooper Bebe, and then we get right guard Zach Martin and Terrence Steele at right tackle. When it comes to this Cowboys offense, I'm just going to honestly come out clean. Unless Dowell is playing, they don't got a run game. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook are going to be good enough. And when it comes to the receiving game, like they got some good guys in CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert. Even Cavante Turpin, but he's more of a return specialist. And when it comes to Ferguson, it's not really going to be targeted as much. So realistically, it's still going to be going up against the 49er defense, which is hindered. But I still think that the 49ers come out on top since the Cowboys are just not doing good overall. Now, on to the defense of the Dallas Cowboys, starting with defensive ends Chauncey Golston and Tyrus Wheat. Defensive tackles Mozzie Smith and Oza Odi, whatever that is. I don't know how to say that. And then we get weak side linebacker Damian Clark, inside linebacker Eric Kendricks, but if he cannot go, then we get Buddy Johnson at inside linebacker. Strong side linebacker is DeMarvion Overshone. Then we get cornerback Kalen Carson, but if he cannot go, CJ Goodwin will take over. Then we get Trevon Diggs on the other side, nickelback Jordan Lewis, free safety Malik Hooker, and Donovan Wilson at strong safety. Now, when it comes to the Cowboys defense, honestly, it's going up against an hinder offense as well. Obviously, no Brandon Ayuk. We could see Deebo Samuels not play the game, but who knows? In the end, I think that this defense is still not going to have that much of success against the offense of the San Francisco 49ers. I think that the 49ers are much better than the Cowboy defense. So I'm expecting, especially without Micah Parsons, for this team really not to do well on the defensive side. Now, in conclusion, I have the San Francisco 49ers winning this 31-28. And yes, it's going to be a close game-winning field goal by, I think the kicker is still the same guy from the last game. The kicker, I think he got injured against Seattle, but in the end, it's going to be a game-winning field goal. I can see it now. It's a game-winning field goal. But here's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys, I think, honestly could do a lot better if they actually worked on their team rather than their owner just saying, "Oh, we're doing great," or "Hey, we're getting these players. We're going to do this in the offseason," and then does nothing. Like, he's not helping his team at all, and honestly, that's mainly why the Cowboys are not succeeding. Jerry Jones is he's just not that guy from the 90s that got Emmitt Smith and also like Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin. He didn't. He also got also the coach Jimmy Johnson as well. But in the end, it's not gonna help nowadays because, I mean, first of all, he's super old. So at this point, Jerry should start thinking of getting a general manager on the team because at this point, he's just not the best at doing what he's been doing with the Cowboys for years. Now that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tweet me any video ideas. Also tell me down in the comments below, who do you think will win? The Cowboys or the 49ers? Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe, and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.